So we're starting right away. We're discussing promotion when the time went off. So I'll just start from where I stopped, just a few slides back. Potential export customers include importers who are looking for new ways of generating foreign exchange to fund their import transaction. Also, people who have been contacted to supply products to their allies abroad. Companies who want to set up a new line of business in exportation. People who live abroad and want to sell Nigerian product overseas. People who currently have orders for export and have the fund but do not know how to go about it. Local manufacturers and distributors of finished goods who are looking for market outside the country. Those who have lost money in export business and are looking for how to reduce their risk in subsequent shipment. Current exporters who need a better understanding of the business. Current exporters who need financing to expand their export operation. Professionals looking for plan B, and the state government. Professionals looking for plan B and for state government, what really happened for state government is that a lot of state governments in Nigeria claim they cannot pay salary, and sincerely, I disagree with that completely. I serve in Jigawa State, and I know that states can export product in their state and generate a lot of income from it. They can export product in their state and get a lot of income from it. So in the course of this conversation, if you have questions, please remember to drop it in the chat. And if there are other suggestions of what you want us to discuss in future, then let us also know it so that we'll be treating topics that will be of interest to us as bankers. Like I said, it has to be trade related. So in the value chain, I mentioned it also last time, the value chain, that don't just look at export, look at the other people in the chain. If you have an exporter, the other have either is dealing with a commodity agent, if it's commodity, if it's into manufacturing, how about the suppliers? The suppliers, because these are the things that makes it easier for you to structure financing for them. This can also make it easier for you to structure financing for them. So exporters, the commodity sales agent, those are the people that go up country to get it. Commodity merchants, these are the people in the towns. Like if you go to Kano, in the city like Kano, you can see them in Dawanu market, the merchant. Then local buying agent are the people that go into the bush to buy and then bring it back to the city. Then farmers and miners or local manufacturers. So look down the chain, not just the person. Remember, we're talking about marketing trade customers. And I'm saying don't just market the export customers, but look at other contributors in the chain, Now, marketing has been described as an organizational function and a set of processes for creating, capturing, communicating, and delivering value to customers. This is talking about 4 P's, although someone mentioned the remaining 2 P's, which I agree with completely. I'm only concentrating on the 4 P's because that's what applies to what I'm looking at, but there is people and there is physical movement of the goods. Now, here we are looking at value creation product. And last week, I mentioned the product, if you remember very well. I mentioned, and on Wednesday rather, export product information service, export pricing information service, export finance product, export contract information service, and export documentation service. Now, I'll be more conscious of what Simon suggested last week, that even though I'm talking, I should also be conscious of the fact that people want to see what they can do themselves if the organization is not going to be able to do some of the things I recommend. So I'll be looking at a situation in which you as an individual acquire skill in all these areas and then be able to render this service to your customer. So when you're marketing the customer, you're telling him that, look, you're telling him as if the bank is doing it, even though you will be the one to render that service, if you understand what I mean. So you can provide information on product, you can provide information on price, you can provide information on finance, on paperwork, that's contract, and then on documentation service. The idea basically is that we're able to render support services to intending exporter. That's basically what we're talking about. So here we're talking about the export support services. Remember the 4 areas of challenges for a typical exporter: product issue, pricing issue, purchasers issue, payment issue, and paperwork issue. These are the 5 P's that destroy export trade transaction that we are recommending that you can render support services personally now, apart from the one for the organization personally now. You are going to render that service free of charge, but you know what you are trying to get. You are trying to get transaction for them. So the fact that you're doing it free of charge does not mean you don't want to charge for it, but it's not like it's a service the bank already is charging for, but you are rendering this and you are painting a picture. This is the value the bank can add to you, but you are the one that will be rendering those services to the customer. So we ended up here last time, and this was on discussing the marketing plan. And I was asking them that, do you have a marketing plan? You should have a marketing plan. You should have a marketing plan. You should have a marketing plan as an individual, as a unit. What that does is it gives your planning give you a thrust. It gives you a direction. And you know, when you have a direction, it makes it easier for you to know exactly what you will not do and what you should do. And then when you see what the result is, if it makes sense, then you continue it. If it doesn't make sense, of course, you decline continuation of such. Now, so planning phase, business objective, and I'll be looking at that shortly. Situation analysis, and then that's what analysis, and then implementation phase where you look at segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Then under the marketing means the product, we've talked about the product, the pricing, the place, and the promotion. And then control phase where you go back and evaluate what you've done. The idea is, as human beings, every process or system you put in place as human being will not be foolproof. There will be errors, there will be mistakes, there will be issues. The reason for evaluating is to see where can we improve. As human beings, we can only get better in whatever it is you do. We can only get better. And that continuous improvement should be more important to us, actually. That continuous improvement should be more important to us. We can only get better as human beings. We can only get better. And we should work towards getting better. You know, when there's a challenge in the office and you are thinking, when you think, you are querying your database. When you are not able to find solution, it's because the database is shallow. The quality of thought will be poor if there's not enough material or raw material to think. If there's not enough raw material to think, the database will be shallow and the quality of thought will be poor. That's why sometimes there are problems, there are challenges, and you're trying to fix it, and for one reason or the other, you're unable to fix it. Oladuni Kolawole, I see your hand up. Can you just drop your comment? I can respond to that. I will take physical speaking at the end so that we can save time. So in the course of the conversation, please, if you have any question or comment, I will appreciate if you can drop it in the comment box. I will appreciate if you can drop it right there in the chat, rather. Then I'll be able to answer. So I might not be able to take your question now, Kolawole, Oladuni, but if you drop in the comment box, I'll read it and then probably be able to attend to it. Because I think it's good if we drop our question at the speed of concern so that it can be addressed as we go along in the conversation. So it can be addressed as we go along in the conversation. All right. So let's move on now. Now look at the objectives, business mission objective. This includes both financial and non-financial targets. The question I need to ask you first is, does your organization have a target for export? Does your organization have a target for export? If the organization does not have a target for export, then it's good that target is set, because it's good you have a direction. It's good you have a direction. You have an objective you want to achieve, but it's also good that it's driven by the organization where you work. It's good it's driven by the organization where you work. The fact that the organization have a target. Is there a target for export? Is there a number of exporters you are targeting to get in? Do you have an idea if there's a number of exporters that the organization is targeting to get in? If there's an idea about that, that makes a lot of sense. That the organization have a number, the idea of the exporter, the number of exporters that is targeting. Now, the reason why that is important is that when you have a vision, it gives direction. When you have a vision, it gives direction. When you have a direction, it becomes easier. Your planning, your strategy become focused, and then it becomes result-oriented. What that does for you is it helps you to know if you are making progress. It helps you to know, especially as it relates to what the organization see as making progress. You understand what I mean? Industry analysis. The industry analysis should include prospect, possibilities, problems, product, player, position, and profit. We are analyzing the industry, prospect. What is the trend and chance of growth in the non-oil export? I tell you, it is high. I told you we have a diploma in export program, and because of COVID and because of the outlook, a lot of people are showing interest in doing it. So I can say for a fact that people have renewed interest in export. Probably because of FX, probably because of recession, a lot of reasons for different people depending on their objective. Some people who are already exporting are sending their staff for training. They are already exporting, but sending their staff for training. So the prospect for me looks very good. Possibility, what are the likely collateral business opportunities that can be created by the growth in this sector? As export grows, what will happen is, especially if the export is driven towards value add, you see a lot of small scale manufacturing companies. But of course, we must talk about agric, because as export grow, the demand for agriculture will definitely grow, because our major item of agric, both in the manufacturing side and in the raw commodity side, is still based on agric. So there are possibilities for growth. Problem, what is the major problem militating against the growth in the sector? There are problems. One of the major problems is logistics, moving goods from one point to the other. Apart from, that's locally now, apart from the 5P I talk about, which is general challenge any exporter will face, that we are talking about how you can help them fix it. Product, what kind of export finance product will be feasible in this sector? Pre and post export financing will be a good one for the bank to consider, pre and post. And each of them have their peculiar challenges. Who are the major player in the industry? For you, the major player will be, competitors who are already there. And I will show some of those competitors for you very soon. I'll show you, although it's an old data, about 2-year-old, but at least it gives you an idea of what banks are doing as far as export volume is concerned, as 2 years ago. Even though some banks might have moved away from that now, but at least give us an idea. We've not had access to recent data in recent times. Who are the major players in the industry? Who also, major exporters. What is the position of your bank among competitors in the industry? What's the position of your bank among the competitors in the industry? And profit, how profitable is the sector? The sector is really profitable, no doubt about it. So do your industry analysis so that you know exactly what you're going into. Now, this is a data from 2017 data. And from what you can see here, we're all bankers, so we can see what all of us are doing. Generally, there's something Zenith is doing right. I must confess that Zenith is doing right, that is making Zenith to be taking, getting more opportunity in this sector. Other banks that are here, maybe you check your bank and see where exactly is your bank. Maybe your bank might have moved up a little, maybe, but you can see that look at the number of customers. If you look at the number of customers here, you notice that even this customer we can see here, a number of them are using two banks. That's to tell you how few exporters we have in Nigeria. So, like I said, Zenith has always taken 20%, 25%, 30% of that market, both on the import and export. Like I said, there's something they are doing right that they need to consider. A number of other banks, as you can see on the screen. So, where are you? And this is what should inform whatever strategy you're having. Do you want to increase your export count? And you want to increase the number of customers? You want to increase the volume? So, volume, count, market share, and number of customers. Those are the things that should determine which where you want to be as a bank. Those are the things that should determine where you want to be as a bank. Now, still looking at industry overview, segmentation of Nigerian exporters. Here you have the large. Now, there are different ways I think you should segment. I think you should segment large, medium, small, and micro. And also, that's based on volume. But also remember to segment based on industry sector. Agric, manufacturing, and minerals. Agric, manufacturing, and minerals. So I would rather you separate it in those three ways. Manufacturing, those are adding value to agric and non-agric. Agric, those are doing raw commodities, and minerals, those are doing solid minerals. And from what you can see here, you will notice something here that large scale is constituting 95% of the value. Large scale is those that are doing $1 million per NXP. That they open one NXP and it's $1 million. Those that are doing 500 to 999, 500 to 999,000. And then small scale, 100 to 499, and micro below 100,000. You will notice that there are a lot in the micro space, a lot in the micro space. And the number of exporters is just 776. There are a lot of exporters in the micro space. So in terms of number, few are doing the large, many. So you have a lot in the small and micro. Depending on the strategy of your bank, that also determines which sector you're looking at. Now, SWOT analysis. This includes internal strength and weakness of the bank as it relates to growing export business and external opportunities or threats to the bank. So strength, what are the inward capabilities that makes the bank better? What are the inward capabilities that make the bank better positioned in the non-oil export sector? Have you tried to analyze that? What do you have going for you? Is if a bank that is already doing well in agri has a strength for export. A bank doing well in agri has a strength for export. You can leverage on your strength in agri to be able to create more exporters and fund more export because you're already doing well in agri. A bank that is doing well in construction, quarry, can do well also in mineral export. A bank that already have a lot of manufacturer producing for local consumption has an advantage in that space also for export. So weaknesses, what are the inward deficiencies that could militate against bank capability to grow? One of them is knowledge gap, and I feel it can be covered. One of the weaknesses for many banks in Nigeria is knowledge gap. Knowledge gap in being able to understand the sector and understand the industry well, knowledge gap. From some of the pre and post importation country bottleneck, what is government stand in terms of policy to favor exporter in this regard? Pre and post, do you mean pre and post exportation? Easily. Is it pre and post exportation you're talking about? But I'm seeing pre and post importation. So can you correct that so I can know what your question is about? So weaknesses. What are the inward deficiencies? Sorry, yeah, inward deficiencies. And I'm talking about that. The deficiency really is mainly knowledge gap. That is the main challenge we have, knowledge gap. So which is a gap that can be filled because the idea of strength is to leverage on your strength. Your weakness is to find a way to strengthen your weakness, to increase strength in your weakness, to lower your weakness, to reduce the weakness by finding a way to solve that problem or whatever it is that is making you to be weak in that area. Opportunity. What are the external factors that increase the chance of success or increase revenue for a bank? There are huge opportunity here. Nigeria last year exported, our export last year was $62 billion. And import was 55 last year. So the opportunity in export is huge, both in oil and non-oil. Threat. What are the external factors that can reduce the chance of growth of non-oil export volume of a bank playing in this sector? What are the external factors that can reduce the chance of growth? There are a lot of challenges. One of them is the issue at the port. The fact that the logistics of getting good into the port is a big headache. Logistics of getting good into the port is a very big headache. Very big headache that can help, that need to be sorted out. Among other challenges that we'll talk about in the past. Segmentation. It is very strong. It is very wrong for a bank to design a single export finance product and expect that it will be used for every subsector in the non-oil export sector of the economy. If you want to develop a product for that sector, you can't develop just one. Why? They all have different peculiarities, and I'll show you the peculiarities soon. 3 major sectors that a bank should consider: agri, commodities, solid minerals, and manufacturing sector. Agri, commodity, solid minerals, and manufacturing sector. The segmentation can also be based on large-scale exporter, medium-scale exporter, small-scale exporter, and micro exporter. Now, Look at the exporter based on volume. The other one was based on count. Now we are looking at, sorry, the other one based on NXP count. That's what we are using here now. Or NXP count. So if you look at in terms of the NXP, you can see that the large are still doing a lot better. And the number of NXP was 9,937 rather. And of course, the large are doing a lot more. Now, let me show you some characteristics of small, large, and medium and large, and then small and micro. I'm trying to just give you characteristics. Medium and large, and small and micro. Look at this. Export volume. From medium to large, they are doing from 500,000 and above per shipment. Source of fund. They have capacity to get ship funding from abroad. Partner abroad. Mostly have sister company as trading partner abroad. Payment mode. Often bid for collection and open account. Warehousing. Own their own warehouse, either through building or leasing. Haulage. Own truck and sometimes also from reputable firm. Product source. Manufacture its own product or fund production on contract basis. Loan security. They have enough assets to secure the facility. Advisory services. Do not really need advisory services on export operation because they already are master of the game. But best they can do is probably to just train their staff. Loan type, mostly prefer asset-based line of credit so they can draw when needed. Prefer bank. The issue is that they want low price loan, very low pricing loan. And they want bank that have large branch network and premium service. That is what they want. Look at the small and micro. Export volume below 500,000 per shipment. Source of fund rarely from financial institutions abroad. They source locally. Partners, sometimes they have export again abroad. Payment mode, prefer LC and bid for collection, but often get open account. Warehousing, rent warehouse for temporary storage for shipment. Only rarely own trucks. They have to get trucks from third party. Product source, mostly procure from merchant and manufacturer. Loan security, often use product to secure finance. Advisory services, these are the people that need the advisory services. These are the SMEs that need the advisory services. Loan type, mostly prefer well-structured and self-liquidating trade finance, and prefer bank. They want low pricing also, and they could cope with few branches. Now, let's compare agric, manufacture, and solid minerals. Agric, manufacture, and solid minerals. Look at agric. Nature of product is perishable. Manufacture, partially perishable. Solid minerals, non-perishable. Quality regulation, partially operational in agric. Please note that. Partially operational in agric. In manufactured good, fully operational. Solid minerals, nil. Quality regulation. Nobody's regulating quality in minerals. In manufactured good, Sun is regulating with Manca. Agric is not fully operational. That's some government agency doing that. Number of exporters, most people do agric, more do manufacture, but least do minerals. Availability. About 3 to 6 months. That's the time period that most commodities are available. Different commodities. Manufactured goods, they are available year-round. Solid minerals, about 6 to 9 months when there is no rain or when rain is low. Major risk for agric, moisture, micro, impurities. Major risk for manufactured goods, personnel, machinery, and raw materials. Major risk, personnel risk, raw material, and machinery. But solid minerals, impurities, stand and sewn. Quality inspection for manufactured goods is high. The inspection agent can do good job. Agric, medium. Minerals, the quality of inspection is low. You need to be careful when you are finding minerals. Major buyer, agric is mainly Asians. Solid mineral is mostly Chinese, not just Asians, mostly Chinese. Manufactured goods in Africa, EU and US, but a lot in Africa. Purpose of fund, farming or procurement. That's what agric is used for. The purpose of fund in manufactured goods, procuring and manufacturing, and in solid minerals, mining and procurement. Transaction cycle, mostly longer than 2 months. In manufactured goods, mostly less than 2 months. Solid minerals, mostly longer than 3 months. Mode of shipment, both air and sea. For manufactured goods, both air and sea. Solid minerals is mostly by sea. Risk of theft is very high with manufactured goods. medium with agri, very low with solid minerals. Source of goods, almost in all regions of the country from agri. Manufactured goods, mostly in Southwest where we have a lot of manufacturing companies. Minerals, mostly Northeast, North Central, and Northwest. And also some part of Southeast. Type of funding, mostly pre-export finance for agri, mostly pre-export finance for manufactured goods, mostly pre-export finance, and mostly pre-export finance. You notice, so agri would prefer post because of cycle, but other would prefer pre. Documentation. There is more documentation in agri, list in minerals, and more also in manufactured goods. Recommendation. So if your bank is strong in agri, finance agri export. If you are strong in manufacturing, finance manufacturing export. If you are strong in construction or quarry, finance solid minerals. What am I trying to say? Different sectors have different characteristics. Different sectors have different characteristics. Okay, you mean say pre. So I'm still not getting his early question. What is government stand in terms of policy to favor exporter? Okay, policy to favor exporter in terms of pre and post export. I'm waiting for the next policy. There is STF right now. I don't know how many people have assessed the export stimulation fund. I don't know how many people. I know it was on at a point we were talking about it, but I really do not know how many people have been able to access the export stimulation fund, sincerely. I really don't know how many people have been able to access the export stimulation fund. What we are pushing to the government through the Lagos Chamber right now is export credit insurance, something that will be able to protect exporter for payment of their, for proceed, and then at the same time, not just protect them for their proceed, but at the same time, it's also helping them to get funding from banks. Now, target. Based on SWOT analysis and the peculiar issue of each of the segments stated above, a bank can then determine the strategic segment in which it would like to be a big player. In taking this decision, a bank should first leverage on its current strength in any of the segments to take advantage of the opportunities available in such segment. For example, a bank that have already mastered the financing of its customer who are in agri sector is better placed to target agricultural commodity export. On the other hand, banks that have developed competence in financing manufacturing sector is better placed to focus on finished goods. Finally, a bank that is already used to financing construction companies and operator of quarries is better placed to target financing miners and exporters of solid minerals, because they are low-hanging fruit. Does not mean you can't play in another sector, but these are low-hanging fruit based on your current strength when you are while you are developing other area of strength. Having segmented the market and determined the one to be targeted, the bank can then launch programs and campaigns that will position its product in the mind of the exporter as the best option. Now, this one, the bank has to do it. Only you cannot do it, even though I've been talking about you being able to do stuff for yourself. Positioning is a marketing concept that outlines what a business should do to market its product, its services to its customers. In positioning, the marketing department creates an image of the product based on its intended audience. Now, let me tell you how you can do this. And let me tell you, I'm willing to partner with the bank that is ready to do this. In positioning your bank, one of the things you can do is you can do free seminar. And you know, with COVID-19, your cost of organizing that seminar is almost zero. It's only campaign you send out and then you do online, and then we can connect. I will gladly do those seminars to them free of charge if it will help us to stimulate their interest in export. If it will help us to stimulate their interest in export, you can get them registered, so you have their detail when they register, so you can always market. So that means, as a bank, to position yourself as exporter, to position yourself as an export-focused bank, you need to strategize, to reach out to, now, and when you are doing this, don't do it to only exporter, do it to all your customers. Do it blast it as much as possible, but do it online. So everybody connect from all over the country, You know what? The bank does not need to think of cost. In fact, a unit can organize this. You don't need the bank unless your group head, maybe your group head will approve, and then you work with the corporate communication. It won't cost the bank so much to do this kind of seminar. And like I said, I would gladly come on board to talk to those customers on how they can start export, and you can begin to support them afterward. But you must position yourself. Find a way. What I've just said is one of the ways to position yourself as an export-focused bank. The more intense a positioning strategy, typically the more effective the marketing strategy is for a company. A good positioning strategy elevates the marketing effort and help a buyer move from knowledge of a product to service to his purchase. Positioning, positioning, positioning. Now, the marketing means these are 4 related. Remember, we're still discussing marketing plan. 4 interrelated decision-making factors: product, price, place, promotion, and they're like control. And the control, it is the control of these activities that a firm uses to respond to the wants of its target market. Product. These include a variety of non-oil export finance products and services offered by the bank to satisfy the customer's need. Price. It is everything the buyer give up in exchange for products. The key to determining price is to figure out how much the customer is willing to pay and assess whether that is profitable. In this case, you won't need to charge for this because you can render this service for free just to get the customer to think of you as a banker. To think of you as the bank providing solution to their problem. Place. This describes all activity necessary to get the non-export finance product or export business support services to the right customer. Promotion. This is the communication by a marketer that informs, persuade, and remind the potential buyer about non-oil export finance products and export business support services to influence rather their opinion and elicit a response from them. To influence their opinion and elicit a response from them. To influence their opinion and elicit. Now, having talked about the marketing plan, we will now go to discuss my proposal.